Hello, and welcome to Go Spill the Tea with myself, Paranormal Mitch.
And Paranormal Deej.
We have an exciting episode for you today. We are talking about debunking the paranormal, which is something I feel like we are ironically quite passionate about.
Yes, we are. I think debunking is something a lot of people are sensitive to in the paranormal. Nobody likes to be debunked, but it's really important that as paranormal investigators and haunted doll collectors, that we are watching things with a critical eye and also debunking ourselves, because we want to know what is happening as a result of our haunted dolls and what is not. And I think that paranormal investigators and haunted doll collectors are two separate groups of people. Some people are both, some people are just one. And even if you're just a haunted doll collector, you have bought a pre-investigated haunted doll, it's investigated for you, you know who they are. It's still important that you know about debunking and that you're debunking stuff that's going on in your own house so that you know what's what. And so this is by no means going to be a comprehensive catch every single thing episode. You would be listening to us for the next 10 hours. Don't think you want to do that. Maybe you do, but
I hope not.
We don't want to sit here for the next 10 hours. Our butts would hurt in these chairs. So we are going through like the big culprits. This is going to, big picture stuff that are very, very common reasons for things to happen. So let's get into it.
Let's get into it. Yeah, I think we've talked to some fantastic paranormal investigators in our time doing this, and a lot of them are very big on debunking too, because I think we try to make it as logical as possible.
Yeah.
And you sometimes I feel like you can get a little too lost in the sauce, if that makes sense, especially in paranormal stuff. So I think it's important to stay logical.
Right? You get excited. As an investigator, it's so exciting to have something happen.
But I think it's very important to stay rational.
Yes, for sure. And I think too, it's important to remember, like, when you're consuming paranormal content, it's important to recognize you can't always debunk everything from a video. Certain things just aren't captured on video, or it happened off camera, or it's hard to tell, or it's related to something that isn't able to be captured.
Yeah.
And so when you're consuming paranormal content, what I try to keep in mind is, like, sometimes I'm really, really quick to see a video and be like, oh, I want to debunk that. But then I also have to ground myself and remember, like, hey, I wasn't there. I don't have the full context. I have what the camera captured. And unfortunately, paranormal activity happens so fast that sometimes you don't have the perfect camera angle for when something happens because you don't know when it's going to happen. And so it's important when you're consuming paranormal content to also, like, be able to have a certain degree of trust in who you're watching and looking for things like discussions in their videos about a potential debunk. Watching them, you know, if it's in their video, watching them go and approach a situation and look into it. If you're seeing those things, those are a really good sign that somebody is reliable. If before they say ghost, they're like, okay, you know, let's look at the door here. Let's look at the hinges on the door, see how it opened. Let's look at, you know, what direction the wind is blowing, all of those kinds of things. If you see people doing that, that's a really good sign. So those are things that I always look for when I'm looking at creators to watch and things to do, because it is impossible to fully be educated about what is going on in a video simply because, and it's no fault of the creators, camera angles are camera angles, and we have fell victim to things happening off camera, and it just stinks when it happens, but it's life. So just things to think about when you're watching things as well.
Cool. All right, Taylor, what's our first topic of debunking we're going to discuss today?
My first topic of debunking is something I'm personally very, very passionate about because I have issues with this, and that is mold and mildew. I personally have a very, very, very severe mold allergy. It will screw me up for weeks. And so mold and mildew can actually give sensations of paranormal experiences, which is one of the reasons why I'm so heavy into hard evidence rather than just like vibes and feelings and, oh, I feel like something is going on. I want to see something going on.
Which is still important.
Your intuition's important.
If you're looking from a logical perspective, it's very hard for someone to say, well, I feel like something is here. That's not.
But there's no external evidence to back that feeling up.
Yes.
Because there are things like mold and mildew that can give you feelings and sensations of paranormal activity.
Precisely.
When there's not. And I will tell you, my mold reactions are scarier than demons. So, Good, good thing for me. I have a built-in mold detector.
Wow, great.
So if I go in places and I'm suffering, everybody's going to suffer with me. So mold should be high on your list of things to rule out before attributing an experience to something paranormal, because the effects of being exposed to mold can very, very closely actually mimic what people describe as haunting phenomena. So toxic mold syndrome, which is sometimes called mold illness, can occur due to exposure to mycotoxins produced by certain mold species. Toxic mold syndrome is a huge deal. And when you think about paranormal investigators, these locations are old and
Old
damp
houses,
basements,
abandoned.
old gross attics,
Yeah.
like people are exposed to mold a lot.
And mold is everywhere.
Yeah, and so toxic mold syndrome can be linked to cognitive changes, mood disturbances, neuropsychiatric symptoms, and it can even impact your attention, memory, and emotional regulation. So it may not be a spirit causing you to feel very anxious. It could be your system reacting to mold and making you feel very anxious.
Yeah.
So that is something to definitely keep in mind. And normal sights, sounds, and sensations can also begin to feel threatening, distorted, or inexplicable. So it can kind of send your body into this like hypervigilance mode. Like, so you'll be noticing every creak in the house, every little noise, sensation, thing that is going on in your everyday environment, just of the nature of being in a place with circulating air.
Yeah, kind of like a paranoia thing.
Yeah, and it can feel very, very paranormal when it's actually your body's reaction to mold. In addition to direct neurological impact, living in a mold contaminated environment creates ongoing physical and psychological stress. So symptoms such as fatigue, brain fog, and general malaise can heighten anxiety and worsen existing mental health conditions. So the constant worry about health combined with persistent discomfort in your body can push your nervous system into this state of being hypervigilant. So for individuals who are already vulnerable, this prolonged stress can contribute to paranoia or psychotic symptoms, making very ordinary experiences feel supernatural. This is mold and mildew is one of the first things that people who do paranormal investigations in homes look for.
Yep.
And a lot of home paranormal activity can often be attributed to mold. Because mold can quietly alter both perception and emotional stability, ruling it out is a very critical and responsible first step. It's also very good for your health. Living in a mold contaminated environment is so horrible for you.
Super bad.
Can really impact you long term. And so if you are afraid that your house is haunted, or you feel like, oh, I moved into this place, mold is definitely something that you should check out before assuming a ghost, because you just don't want to be exposed to that long term. This is a debunking that, even if you're somebody who's very sensitive to debunking, which I know some people are, this is something you should want to debunk, because you do not want to live in this. Trust. Investigating environmental factors like air quality and hidden moisture helps ensure what seems paranormal is not actually a serious and treatable health issue. So mold and mildew, a lot of paranormal investigators, especially those who investigate homes, do carry like air quality monitors on them. To check for things like this. So if you are having your home investigated, especially, obviously it's a little bit different at like a random haunted location, that is something that you want to see happening. Not all mold is obvious, but some mold is very obvious, especially in these old buildings. You look at the ceiling and you can see water damage or, black mold spots. Sometimes you can just blatantly see it.
That's bad.
Other times you can't. Sometimes it's hidden in an attic, a basement, whatever, and you just don't know. But definitely something to look for. And I don't see mold talked about enough in the haunted objects community. Huge. Some of these dolls have been sitting in basements and attics for 50 years. Dolls trap moisture, and stuffed animals too trap moisture to an extreme degree because of the stuffing and the material. And so especially like checking those dolls out, I know we say don't mess with vessels. This is your exception. You get a new vessel, like check the stuffed portions of the vessel for signs of water damage. Because even just having a moldy haunted object in your house, a moldy haunted object in your house can cause you issues. So there's my spiel. That's my soapbox for today. The rest of them aren't soapboxes.
That was the one that Taylor really wanted to get out
no,
there.
that's the one, because I've lived with mold issues for a long time, and it's scary shit.
Super rough.
It's scary shit.
Super rough.
That's my spiel. So sorry. Soapbox over. Go ahead, Mitchell.
Okay. Let's get into our next topic, which is sleep. So sleep is a big one. I think a lot of the things you said that mold affected can very much be impacted by lack of sleep.
Yes.
And I feel like, as humans, we probably don't get enough sleep anyways, but there's a lot of things that can happen from sleep. We're going to separate sleep paralysis and lack of sleep for a second here, because I'm going to treat those as two different things. So lack of sleep can cause a lot of issues, such as, fatigue, hallucinations, a lot of the confusion, lack of memory, things like that. It can also affect people physically, like high blood pressure and stuff like that. But that's another thing to watch out for. If you have prolonged lack of sleep, that can absolutely lead to more issues. And especially if you top that on top of other psychological factors or mold or something like that, it kind of is going to exacerbate every other thing that's on this list as well. So that's something to always look out for.
When people are afraid of paranormal activity, a lot of people don't sleep.
Lack of sleep, or they get stressed.
Yep.
And that can make it more challenging.
Mm-hmm.
Or if, let's say, you move into this new house and let's say you do have mold, right? And then let's say, oh my gosh, I'm stressed and I'm getting all these experiences and now I'm not sleeping enough. And it's just like building on top of itself. It can kind of be a slippery slope in regards to other things as well. So that's always something to just keep an eye out and for general health. Next thing we're going to talk about is sleep paralysis. So this is one that is kind of a hot topic in the paranormal field. A lot of different cultures contribute sleep paralysis to some sort of paranormal thing happening. Two cultures that I found specifically were Egypt and Italy. Had examples of how sleep paralysis is supernatural in nature.
Interesting.
So really quick, if you haven't heard of sleep paralysis before, the general definition, it is an out-of-body experience, often described as a type of astral travel where the self leaves the physical body, journeying into a parallel dimension. Out-of-body experiences can reliably be produced in the laboratory. So that's the other thing.
Interesting.
Is that it can be done very specifically in the lab. Basically, you have two parts of the brain. One is your sense of self, and the other one, I think, has to do with sleep. If you separate those two, you pretty much can automatically guarantee that sort of sensation to happen. And then the brain kind of runs wild with a lot of these things. Like, I feel like the very typical thing we hear is like the sleep paralysis demon, right? Is the most common thing, is very reasonable. And ironically, one of the big things that people said is it feels like something is on their chest, like sitting on their chest. That is a key hallmark to definition of sleep paralysis. That always happens. So there's lots of things that can happen there. I think the question is it something that, that's causing it and that could, make paranormal things more reliable to happen? Could that lean towards more paranormal, even though it's reproducible? Hard to say. But there's a lot of things that sleep paralysis kind of touch on that is important to know, that it can be reproduced and other things can happen. So it's not specifically paranormal, but I think it can absolutely have paranormal indications.
Sleep is a tricky one too, because there are also spiritual components related to sleep. So like, we are also most accessible to spirits when our guard is down.
Precisely.
So when we are, laying in bed about to fall asleep, we just wake up, we're also more accessible for spirits.
Correct.
So that makes it very tricky to piece apart. And also, there are spirits that can cause dreams.
Exactly.
So
that's
being able to figure it out is a dance.
Is really tough. So I think there has to be, like I said, I truly do believe that spirits communicate with us a lot in our sleep. But I think it's important to try and, once again, be logical about it. If you're someone who has a significant lack of sleep or something like that, maybe try and improve some sleep habits or look at some other things and see if there could be anything else that could be impacting that.
There's also the psychological piece, when you you look at something for a really, really long time, or you're thinking about something, or you're fixating on something, or obsessing about something that you're really interested in, You may have a dream about that.
Ooh, I'm gonna get into it. Don't worry.
Okay. Because I was going to say, one
worry.
of the things I get a lot is people will contact me and they'll say, oh, your haunted doll gave me a dream.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, oh, who? And it's a haunted doll I've never even had a dream from.
Yeah.
And I'll be like, oh, tell me about your last week. And they're like, oh, well, for the last 3 days, I've watched every single haunted doll backstory you've ever posted.
Don't worry, Taylor.
Sorry.
I'm getting there.
Sorry. You're talking about sleep. This is about sleep.
I
Man.
know. You're getting out of me.
Bro.
All right. What's next, Taylor?
Carbon monoxide.
Great. Fantastic. You're just basically covering all of like the toxic things. You're like, oh great, what's next?
I love to
what else
talk
can
about
kill
toxins. I have medical issues, you guys.
Jeez.
Okay, carbon monoxide. Very, very, very similar to mold. So I'm not going to deep dive this, but the effects of carbon monoxide exposure can look very, very similar. So the effects of carbon monoxide on the brain can be subtle, progressive, and very deeply disorienting. Carbon monoxide is a colorless, odorless gas that interferes with the blood's ability to carry oxygen. You don't have oxygen. What happens, right?
Bad stuff.
So even very, very, very low level or intermittent exposure to carbon monoxide can impair brain function that can lead to confusion, memory problems, headaches, and altered perception. And when the brain, of course, is deprived of adequate oxygen, ordinary environments can feel very unfamiliar, threatening, disorienting, creating experiences that could be very easily misinterpreted as something paranormal. Prolonged or repeated exposure can also affect your mood and emotional regulation. People may experience increased anxiety, irritability, depression, or sudden emotional shifts without an obvious cause. Again, those vibes people get
on
investigations sometimes is your intuition, sometimes maybe your body telling you something is very wrong. So always keep that in mind,
for sure.
In some cases of carbon monoxide exposure, individuals report vivid dreams. There's your dreams again.
There you go.
Visual disturbances or a sense of a presence.
Man, check right there.
Right. All of which are commonly, of course, associated with paranormal.
Yeah.
These symptoms can occur without the person realizing there is any environmental danger. Mold, you can sometimes see it. You can see water damage. Carbon monoxide, that is an invisible warrior.
Spooky.
There you go.
Don't love it.
Especially because carbon monoxide cannot be detected by human senses alone. With mold, you can smell, like sometimes you go into a place and it's like I know, like
it feels damp.
My nose is like very sensitive to it. It's like I walk in somewhere and like you have that like little musty smell. You're like, oh, I think there's mold in here. I'm gonna go.
I don't love it.
I start sneezing instantly. With this, like you don't know it's there. It's just lingering around and you have no idea. There's no smell. There's no thing that will trigger your body to say, oh, something's off. Because carbon monoxide exposure can also escalate very quickly and become life-threatening, checking for it is like, again, like mold, not just debunking, but it's also safety. And as paranormal investigators, we can put ourselves into unsafe environments.
We can?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we can.
But not just from, the ghost angle, right? From the very not good for you angle.
Dust, mold.
Another investigator told me that she went to the Conjuring house. The Conjuring house is full of mold. She's like, you can see it. I've never been to the Conjuring house, but that's a secondhand report. But I was told like the Conjuring house has mold. How come nobody talks about that? And so something to be aware of with carbon monoxide as well. Ensuring functioning carbon monoxide detectors and evaluating your fuel burning appliances can help rule out a dangerous physiological explanation before picking out a ghost.
Yes, this is your weekly update to check your carbon monoxide detector.
Yeah.
All right. I guess I'm up next.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Oh, I love this topic.
This topic is so fun.
Talking about mold and shit.
Talking about mold.
Did you guys know this is one of my interests? Now you know.
Now we know. All right. Let's talk about let's rapid fire. There's a couple of these I want to go over. They're not super in depth. They're kind of logical and make sense. But let's just breeze over a couple of these quick ones. Make sure we do these quick hitters. Number one, structural issues in the house. This is a big one.
Yes.
Think of, like we talked about before, where a lot of haunted locations can sometimes be predominantly older houses made of wood, especially if you're there at night. A lot of times the humidity will drop. You'll get a lot of creaking and noises and things like that. If you talk to anyone who's lived in like a primarily wooden home or like a log cabin, it makes all sorts of noises, right?
When you're getting stuff like knocking in an older house, a very, very, very easy way to debunk and be able to piece apart what's a house settling and what's not is if they're knocking, knock back to them and see if they can match the pattern. So if they can intelligently match the pattern that you provide and doing things on command and it's more interactive, that is a really, really easy way. Like knock back. Okay, I'm going to do, I'm going to do 3 knocks. Okay, now you do 3 knocks back. Because if they can knock that strong, a lot of times they can respond to you. So trying to do that is a very, very easy way.
Or maybe doing it at like different times of the day.
Yeah.
Right. So maybe like one time in the morning, one time at night, try and have something that you can recreate.
Yeah.
Something like that. Next one or next two, plumbing and HVAC systems. So once again, pipes that carry water can oftentimes have very, big pressure changes, especially for us in the winter. They can definitely make lots of funky noises, especially when you hear like in walls or things like that. That's a really common one. HVAC systems can make all sorts of funny noises. It could also be a lot of times they're gas too, so that's another carbon monoxide thing to look out for. But that can once again make like noises in the walls or like a whistling sound or something like that. Like that's very easy to debunk. Always like if you feel like it could be impacted, maybe try and wait for your HVAC system to turn off, or maybe see if you can find some other way to do it. Or
some
if it's
people's
not repeatable,
lights
then you're
flicker
good.
when their systems turn
systems
on.
kick on. That's electrical thing. That was literally the next thing I was going to talk about.
Man, some of these overlap so much. I'm so sorry.
Exactly. Well, that's why I'm kind of going through, because these are kind of
They
all
go together,
very similar. Lighting conditions. So in specifically the home, once again, a lot of these houses have older wiring. Flickering lights can be very common, especially even if you're like walking or if other things, if like an HVAC system turns on, that can cause it. I think also if you're outside, think like car headlights or different kinds of light sources from outside.
Or your bulb is going dead.
Or your bulb is going dead, or street lights, or reflections. I can't even tell you how many times we found stuff in reflections. Like, oh, it's just like a flashlight or something. So that's something to look out for when you're doing either home investigation or outside, especially. It's very
Lens
hard to
flare
find
is
something.
a very real thing.
It's very hard to find somewhere that truly will have zero light pollution. I'd say pretty darn hard. So always something to look out for.
When I post videos, when you're pointing a light at a camera, lens flare happens and there will be other spots of light on other parts of the video. That doesn't mean that that's like a spirit. It just means like you're pointing a camera at a light. And so do be aware of that, because that's a real thing. Also, when you film with your flash on in a dusty location, you're going to get orbs. That's dust. Yeah.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah. Okay. Next one. Carbon dioxide buildup. So last one was carbon monoxide. This is carbon dioxide.
This is 2 oxygen atoms.
Yes. Carbon dioxide buildup is another environmental factor that should be ruled out before interpreting experiences as paranormal, especially in poorly ventilated spaces. Again, a lot of these haunted locations don't have HVAC systems. There's no airflow at all. Elevated carbon dioxide levels can occur when fresh air exchange is limited, leading to subtle oxygen displacement that affects brain function. So moderately increased levels are associated with headaches, dizziness, fatigue, difficulty concentrating, and a sense of mental fog. Your vibe detector is going to be off, right? Again,
bad vibes.
Yeah. These changes can distort your perception, slow down your reasoning, and heighten feelings of unease, making ordinary sounds or movements, again, feel ominous or like a presence. Over time, the body's stress response may intensify to this. So that can increase your anxiety and emotional reactivity. In enclosed environments, the combination of cognitive impairment and discomfort can also give you feelings of experiences that may feel threatening, despite having a very clear and measurable environmental cause. So there's that one.
All right.
Yeah.
That's another big one.
Yeah.
I'm going to once again run through a couple of quick ones. I'm definitely going to piggyback off of the one you just said and talk about environmental toxins. So this is another big one, such as lead or mercury, pesticides, air pollutants such as diesel exhaust or nitrogen dioxide from gas appliances. This can affect a variety of things. Once again, very similar to the kind of things we've talked about before: mood, cognition, physical sensations, confusion, hallucinations. This is another one as well. Children can be especially vulnerable to some of these things. They are smaller, therefore it takes less pollutants to build up in the system. That can be a couple other things we talked about, right?
Mhm.
Mold, carbon dioxide, monoxide, lead, mercury, things like that. And a lot of times we hear like, oh, the kids are experiencing things, but the parents are not. So that's something to always look out for, is other kinds of
And your pets.
environmental toxins and your
Your
pets.
pets.
Absolutely. The one hard part about this is a lot of these metals can have impacts with other things such as stress to make things worse. And it's actually very known that it can cause auditory or visual hallucinations, both being documented with heavy metal toxicity.
Yep.
So there you go. There you go.
All right.
Yeah.
Am I back up?
Yeah.
You got one more. Okay.
No, go for it.
So the next one is infrasound. Kind of goes a little bit with some of Mitchell's, but infrasound, it can strongly influence how people feel and perceive their surroundings. Infrasound consists of very low frequency sound waves that are below the range of human hearing. And these are often produced by machinery, ventilation systems, traffic, or natural sources such as wind. Although it can't be consciously heard at all, like you can't consciously tap into that, infrasound can cause physical sensations such as chest pressure, dizziness, nausea, and unease, which I thought was very interesting.
Oh, so many of these overlap.
Yeah.
You know?
It's also been linked to anxiety. Again, that sense of a presence, and visual disturbances in some individuals. These subtle but powerful effects can make the environment feel unsettling or charged, which we hear like, oh, it's a heavy energy place. Infrasound can also cause this, leading people to interpret normal sensations as something supernatural when the cause is environmental.
There you go.
It's a sneaky one.
A sneaky one.
Sneaky one. And it makes me think of places like Bachelor's Grove that are right next to a highway.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. So next one I'm going to talk about is kind of a tough one. So this is psychological and emotional stress.
Yes.
So this is a tough one. I feel like this is kind of the go-to for people who are skeptics. Like if, oh, this person, I hate to use this label, but this person's crazy.
I get comments like that. Oh, you must just be crazy.
I hate that.
Terrible. Terrible.
It's a shame. But a lot of these things can be something that I think is important to double check, especially in like residential places. Because a lot of this, once again, like we talked about, so many of these things can be exacerbated by either physical or emotional stress, right?
Yep.
So some of these things like grief, trauma, anxiety could have a heightened suggestibility, which can cause some issues. You can be sort of more prone to notice like normal stimuli and perceive it as threatening, like that paranoia aspect we talked about. And there's a lot of different fields of psychology that kind of go into this. I did just a teeny bit of research. There's actually this thing called the CSI, which is not Crime Scene Investigation Unit. It is the Committee for Skeptical Inquiry.
Yes.
Have you heard of this?
Yes, I have.
Formerly the Committee for the Scientific Investigation of the Claims of the Paranormal. It is an organization that aims to publicize the scientific and skeptical approach to the paranormal. So it's important to note that there are people out there who are really intent on trying to make sure the paranormal is faked. And they say a lot of very not nice things about people who believe in the paranormal. I'm not even going to get into that.
No.
Because it's not great. But interestingly enough, there was one thing I did want to point out. There was this guy named Michael Persinger, who was this very famous guy who was known for his hypotheses regarding the temporal lobes of the human brain and how they correlate to mystical experiences. He did this experiment where he tried to simulate the brain with weak magnetic fields. That was his big thing. It's like magnetic fields are huge. This one Swedish psychologist tried to replicate his research and determined that his research was completely false and had no effect on ghostly or paranormal experiences.
Wow.
So
Debunked the debunker.
Debunked the debunker,
I love
which I
when a
thought was really
debunker gets
interesting.
debunked.
But that's a tough one.
Something with mental illness that I would like just to make viewers aware of. I see this a lot. There are debunkers out there who their entire purpose is, again, like you said, to debunk the paranormal. And I see this a lot. People flinging the nastiest stuff in people's comment sections
ridiculous
about people's mental health status, things like that. I have a big problem with that. One, I don't care how well you think you know a content creator, you do not know their mental status behind the scenes. People can show themselves in any way they want online, and it's really important that we are not evaluating people's mental health from a 30-second TikTok video. You don't know, which debunking off of a 10-second TikTok video is another thing that's like a huge problem, because you can't really make a critical view in those 10 seconds unless it's blatantly obvious, and sometimes it's not. But evaluating somebody's mental health online that you don't know, and accusing them of being this, that, or another thing is really, really, really wrong. So just from like a human decency standpoint, like,
be respectful,
right? Like, watch with a critical eye, yeah, but like, don't crucify somebody's mental health that you don't know. We include this in this episode because I do think it's important on investigations to be aware of our own mental health. Like, check in with yourself, make sure you're in a good headspace,
or your friend, check in with your fellow investigators, check in with your friends,
your loved one, whatever,
ones, for sure.
So like, we include that in this episode. That doesn't mean because you watch this episode and mental health was brought up that you should go on everybody's TikTok and comment and say, oh, you must be this. No. But check yourself.
Kind of the opposite of what we're trying to do.
Right. So just check yourself, and the people that are close to you, and make sure they're okay. So especially if there's somebody who maybe has never had a paranormal experience before, they're starting to have a really, really, really hard time, and like a lot of paranormal stuff is creeping up with that, check in with them, not gaslighting them or, invalidating experiences, but just like out of love and respect. So that's my soapbox about that. I see that a lot. I've gotten comments like that. They see a 10-second video of a haunted doll turning on a flashlight and they're like, oh, well, you must have X, Y, and Z diagnosis. I've had people come into live streams and ask me multiple times. I've had people come into live streams and ask me if I have any mental health diagnoses and what those diagnoses are. You are not entitled to know that about anybody, So like, also check yourself too, because if you're going around doing that, like, that's just gross. So
yeah. And I think this is another thing too, where if you feel like this is happening, this is a great thing to look out for a lot of the other environmental factors we talked about.
Yeah.
The mold, the carbon monoxide, the sleep, all that kind of stuff.
Especially if it's not typical for you.
Yeah.
So,
all right. You got one more, Taylor?
I do.
Great.
Electromagnetic fields, EMFs.
Ooh, the EMF. Classic.
Yes. So electromagnetic fields should be ruled out as a potential factor in both waking and sleeping experiences, before attributing them to the paranormal. EMFs from wiring issues, appliances, or nearby electrical sources can influence your nervous system, especially in environments with unusually high or fluctuating fields. I have talked to home paranormal investigators who investigate in people's homes, and they find out the wall that your head is up against when you're sleeping is super high in EMFs, and it will like really make people have a hard time. And when they just turn the bed to have their head on a different wall, all of their experiences stop. So that is something to definitely be aware of. They can, when you're awake, elevated EMF exposure has been associated with headaches, difficulty concentrating, irritability, and a vague sense of unease. Or being watched is a big one with EMF, is a feeling of like somebody's watching you all the time. During your sleep, your EMFs can interfere with your sleep quality, contribute to vivid dreams, night awakenings, and hallucinations, which can feel very, very real and frightening. When the brain is already in a vulnerable or semi-conscious state, these disruptions can blur the line between dream imagery and waking perception, causing these experiences that, again, feel inexplicable or may stem from environmental electrical exposure. So, again, you'll notice all of these things some people can perceive as their own intuition. And that's why having documentable evidence is so important and why I strive for that. And when people come to me with like, oh, I have a feeling of blah, 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 and they give me a list of things they have a feeling of, I'm like, okay, what hard evidence experience have you had? Do you have stuff moving? Do you have stuff, falling off your shelf? Do you have this? Do you have that? Do you have knocking? Do you have intelligent responses? Do you have communication on a spirit box? I ask for those things not to be a pain in the butt, but because, we want to help you. And as investigators, it's our responsibility to also tell people what may be hard to hear. And that's, hey, your body's being exposed to X, Y, and Z. Like your vibe check can be off, which is why, again, like I really believe in using your intuition on investigations. I believe in psychics. I believe in mediums, but there are things that can influence your perception, and it's very important to be aware of those as well. So,
all right.
I think that was all of mine.
I got 2 quick ones.
All right.
Well, 1 medium one quick one.
And then your fun facts.
Get into it. Don't worry. I have fun facts. Don't worry.
You always have fun facts.
Okay, so first of 2 that I want to talk about is human error or expectation bias. This is a big one. So expectation bias is basically when someone is primed for a specific experience. It's something you kind of talked about earlier. It's something we are very passionate about. So like, for example, if I were to go on an investigation at the local cemetery and I read online that everyone there sees a woman in white, I think that's always, sitting at this grave in the corner, right? Because I had that experience, because I put that in my head, it could be more likely that you may experience that specific thing. You may be looking for it. And if you're looking for it, your brain may justify some things to make that experience valid. I'm not saying it's not a valid experience, but I think it's important to try and make sure that if you're going to some sort of haunted location, I know it's something we try very hard. I think learning a little bit about it is perfectly fine, but I think try and go in with as much of an open mind as you can. Try not to be too narrowed down on trying to say a specific
never read
thing.
People's experiences.
Yeah, and like I said, it's totally okay if you want to do that, but I think you kind of have to check yourself a little bit. If every single person talked about in this cave they heard the sound of a growl, and you go in and you hear something and you go, ooh, that might be a growl.
Maybe that's the growl that they're talking about.
Right?
Yep.
You're trying to wedge something into something that probably isn't the right thing or could not be the right thing. So that's an important thing to always check for yourself when you're at home, when you're with friends or things like that.
I'd like to add to that, locations can prime you too on purpose.
Yeah.
So do be aware of that. The Devil's on the Run tour, for example, where we saw Annabelle. I talked about priming a lot with that experience because they had the green, purple, and red like haunted house lighting, and the heat was really high, and they set up the entire experience to make it feel spooky and scary.
It's basically a haunted house.
Right.
Like a fictional haunted
house.
And
so when you have these haunted objects in a room that's lit with red and purple and green lighting, and there's like a strobe light going, like that is priming your body to perceive what you're looking at as scary or threatening. Even red light is threatening. The brain triggers that as a threat. And so that's something to be aware of too. If you are somebody visiting haunted locations, is like, am I being primed to have this? We have been to haunted locations where we walk in and somebody will say, oh, in this spot, you're going to experience this, this, and this. Well,
and
you
then
can't
we were
guarantee
like,
that. Yeah. You
don't tell me.
You can't guarantee what somebody is going to experience.
Or
and
if
when
you're
doing that, you're priming them to have an experience that they may not have.
Yes, you're trying to sell an experience, right? Because these things are, as much as it is paranormal location, it's entertainment.
It's also tourism.
It's tourism. They're trying, the person that has the most haunted location in America is going to have the most amount of tourism.
Right.
That's how it's going to be. And that's kind of the field we're in. So it's something to just be aware of.
Right.
I think last thing I want to talk about is certain environmental factors. So there's 2 environmental factors I want to go over. Number 1 being quartz deposits. Number 2 being fault lines. So fault lines and quartz deposits are 2 big things that can impact instruments such as EMF or human perception.
That's why I hate those EMFs.
That's why you hate those EMFs. So a lot of times there can be factors that are influencing certain things, So it could tie to something like the infrasound that you talked about, right? If someone's near a cave, that could be a place that replicates certain those experiences.
Your EMF is not answering your questions, and your EMF
It
may
could be
be
random.
reacting to something else that
Maybe
is not a
reacting to
ghost.
something else that is not a ghost. Quartz is really common for doing that. Okay. And what I did was I went on to my fun facts and I cross-referenced fault lines with haunted locations.
Oh,
So
fancy.
I have a couple of haunted locations from what I read and researched. There could definitely be a correlation. It's not a hard and fast thing like this fault line is haunted all the way through, but there is some solid speculation that some of these fault lines could be connected to more paranormal experiences. Okay. There's a couple of big places that are on or near fault lines. Okay. Number one is the Winchester Mystery House. That's in San Jose, California, known as one of the most haunted houses in the US. It is very close to the San Andreas Fault, which covers much of California. Next is Sedona, Arizona. Sedona, Arizona is known as the Vortex. I even knew it as the Vortex before I got even really super into the paranormal when I was there. So it's extremely rich in quartz sandstone, which is piezoelectric, which means it produces small electric charges under stress, which could be perceived as EMF, electrical sensations. It could change someone's, mood or things like that. It could be like that vibe people are experiencing. There's some sort of change that's different than their normal environment.
If you have crazy EMF readings in your house, check where you live.
Exactly. Next big one is Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, where the famous Gettysburg battle happened. That is known as one of the most reported ghost sighting locations in the entire world. I feel like every paranormal show I've ever seen has done Gettysburg. And that is near large amounts of quartzite and crystalline rock formations. So the question for that is because those were there and there was so much trauma and difficulty and death at that location, does that make that location, does it almost prime that location to be a haunted location?
Right.
Very
and with some of these, I think, there are paranormal things going on, but not everything that people experience is paranormal.
Exactly.
So a lot of times it's both. Like this episode isn't to say the paranormal isn't real. We obviously believe in the paranormal, like we do this day in and day out. But we do have to be aware. I mean, we have to live on this planet as investigators. Like we can't have our brains more on the other side than on this side. And sometimes some of these locations, it's a combination of both paranormal and something else. And that makes me wonder about, the claim highly active. Like, is it highly active because there's also another factor?
Yeah, it's very possible. So. It's very possible that it's compounding.
Right.
It could be building upon itself. It could be two separate things that kind of, create a similar sensation or similar thing.
You could have
happening.
A spirit opening and closing doors, but then also be being exposed to mold. So yes, that door is actually opening and closing. You caught it on video. It happened, but you're also being exposed to mold, which is making you feel anxious and like there's something nasty there.
Yes, exactly. Last one I want to talk about is the Bell Witch Cave. Which we know very well.
I love that place.
It is located near the New Madrid seismic zone, which is one of the major seismic zones that goes through central US. That's a fun one. Last one I want to talk about is water. So water, we have discussed multiple times, is a very significant thing that's tied to the paranormal. If we think of a lot of very old cities or old locations are very notoriously near water, right? Because originally that's where people would settle. That's where you had, agriculture and things like that and resources. So it's very common to have lots of people there. But once again, is it something that's building upon itself? Is it something that there's just a lot of people and history there? Like Chicago, for example, is known as a pretty haunted city. Is it just because we're near water that there's people there and that's caused issues? Is it magnified by water? There's also underground water systems that I looked into a little bit. That's another one that could be possibly related to something like fault lines. So there's a lot of environmental factors that play into the influence of the paranormal on people, specifically investigators, and on instruments and things like that. Once again, all of that to say, what impact does it have? I can't tell you exactly, but it's something to be aware of when you're going somewhere or exploring somewhere.
Cool.
Awesome.
Cool.
I think that about wraps it up. I think it's time.
Also, wait, I have a soapbox. Buy yourself a really nice mask and put it in your investigation bag.
Your third soapbox?
Just in case.
Maybe you should take some of your own advice, Taylor.
And don't forget your inhaler at home like I do.
Don't forget your inhaler at home like Taylor does every single time we go anywhere. We're going to the dustiest place on the planet, and Taylor's like, I think I forgot my inhaler. And I'm like, great. She's going to be passing out halfway through and having hallucinations. And I'm like, oh, well, might be dust, might be mold, Taylor.
Don't forget your inhaler.
Forget your inhaler.
I say that because mine is never where it needs to be when it's needed. So,
yeah. All right, let's go on to our commercial break.
Yes.
And on with our spirit of the week, who I am so
who has
excited
nothing
about.
to do with the topic, but is so much fun.
Very passionate.
Yeah.
Perfect.
All right. Well, stay tuned. For our commercial break. We will be right back. Don't leave. We're coming back. Everybody thinks the episode's done when it's the commercial break. It's not done.
The best part is coming.
Yes. Wait.
Because you think we're fun.
No, she's way more fun.
Compared to our
She's way more fun.
Way more fun.
See you soon.
I was built to last when the webs are weaving. I could change the past. I'm achieving. Got my foot on the gas. Never stop competing. If you break my glass, then this life's gonna end.
I wanna be the best in the game, invest in my name. Check no restraints, I'm obsessed with the pain. I ingest, I retain, assess and I change. Possessed by the thought I'll be free one day from society's restraints. Money, clout and fame, mud, disease, a plague. We all love to hate, have to play the game, have to make a name. All our insecurities are on display. This is war with the enemy. Think that it was meant to be. Living in a time where disease is on every screen. I won't let them fester me. I know most are festering. Negativity is a plague for the mentally weak. No mercy, all I got is working. Never stop searching, never quench the thirsty. I'm toxic and psychotic, with this logic you can't stop it. It's been chronic since I was a boy, so neurotic and chaotic.
Built to last with the webs I'm weaving. I could change the past with all I'm achieving. Got my foot on gas, never stop competing. If you break like glass, then this life's gonna eat 'em. Make mistakes real fast, then you learn how to beat 'em. If you take off the cast, you can see all the healing. If the pain's in the past, move on from the grave and put your foot on the gas.
Hello and welcome back from our commercial break. We have with us our spirit of the week.
It's Iris.
It's Iris, our favorite tongue out friend.
Yeah, and you'll notice she's on Mitchell's lap because Mitchell loves this spirit.
Me and Iris are buddies. All right. We like to play video games together. We're friends. Don't hate on our friendship.
No, I'm not hating on I love your friendship. I think it's very cute.
Taylor, how you want to tell us about how Iris got here?
I saw her and I was like, man, she is so funny. I love her. She's coming here. And then she got here and Mitchell was like, she's mine.
I mean, look at her outfit.
She's exceptional.
She looks incredible. Let us also remember when she first got here, she had a very specific rule of where she wanted to be.
Yes.
Do you remember that, Taylor?
So Iris is a teenager. She is very high activity, very high energy. And one of the things about Iris is that she cannot be around breakables, which is very difficult in the haunted doll room.
Mm-hmm.
So Iris, because of her falling, launching, collapsing, everything else under the sun, Iris's vessel is on its last legs.
Yeah.
She has like scuff marks all over her hands, her feet. She has a music box that is duct taped inside of her because she crashed so many times it fell out. So she's duct taped together. And she has told us that she has had 3 or 4 vessels, and this is her favorite one. She really doesn't want this one to break.
But she still looks fabulous.
Yes. So we don't put her on a stand because if she's on a stand, she will launch. We also don't put her on a shelf with friends because if she's on a shelf with friends, her friends will also fly. So Iris sits in a cute little lawn chair, and it has worked really well because it's tight around her body.
She loves it.
And it contains her. I know a lot of people love their haunted dolls to move. I love it too. I think it's really cool, but it scares me very badly when they have a delicate vessel.
And she even said, she's like, I can't go on a shelf.
No.
I'm gonna break my vessel.
Yeah.
And I really like this one.
Yeah. So we are very mindful of Iris's vessel.
Yes. This was her choice.
Yes. She is awesome. She is one of those spirits who you can really build a close relationship with. She's very communicative. She loves to chat. She loves to get to know you. She loves to hear about your life. She loves to be a part of things in the house. She is just super, super social. And she likes to make movie reviews. When you see our movie reviews on TikTok, a lot of those are Iris. She likes to roast movies to make us laugh, especially ones that we really like like High School Musical Iris. She also would like to do video game reviews as well with Mitchell. So,
but funny video games.
yes,
As we will talk about.
yes, she loves to make people laugh. She likes to make you happy. And she has just a really, really good attitude about her situation. And that has been really fun for us to get to know her, work with her. But Iris had a ton of questions submitted for her. So I will let those speak for themselves. But if you would like to get to know more about Iris, who she is, her backstory video is in the description.
Yeah, we're going to get through these questions.
Yeah,
there's a lot.
There's a lot.
Okay, so first question was from Lucky. Shout out Lucky.
Yeah.
Their question was, what is your favorite movie? Legend is one of ours. And Iris said, I learned Mean Girls was funny at movie night. Fridays wear pink. Couldn't agree more.
I would like to make a comment about how Lucky asks these questions, because it really stood out to me the way in which Lucky did it, and it made me really think about my own practices when I'm asking questions. And so something to make note of, the way Lucky asked these questions was they asked the question and then also shared a little bit about themselves and their preferences and their opinion on the question too. So it wasn't just like interview. It was also like, hey, here's a little bit about me as well. And I think that is a really good strategy for helping a spirit feel comfortable communicating. So if you were having trouble with one of your haunted dolls at home and they feel pressured or interviewed, adding a little bit about yourself in there, like Lucky does in their questions, is something I would recommend. So
great.
Yeah.
Okay. Next question. Also from Lucky. They ask, other than smell, is there anything else you like about strawberry shortcake? We agree as a kid, we loved the smell. And Iris answered, yes, I didn't get many toys as a kid, so it's a way to treat myself. Inner child or whatever.
I love her.
There you go. Next question is from Lucky. They ask, is there anything you wish you did different? Like something you could have changed and not the things you had no control over? Excellent question. Iris answered, I don't have regrets. I lived how I was meant to. Worrying about it or wishing change wouldn't let me have any fun. No one should have regrets. Fire answer. And
I need to take notes.
And I specifically said, I was like, Iris, that's a fire answer. And she went, I know. I was like, okay, all right.
It was very wise, very mature.
She is.
Yeah.
She's been through a lot.
Yeah.
Next question was also from Lucky. Do you feel like you have a support team other than Taylor and Mitch, whether that be other spirits or human friends that come over and visit? And Iris said, I'm lucky to have a lot of spirits with different backgrounds to be friends with. I still check in on old friends sometimes too, even though they don't know I'm there. That's not important.
It's the first time we have ever heard from a spirit about going in and checking on loved ones
or old friends.
Yeah.
Yeah. Super huge. Next question is from Spider. They ask, what is your favorite bad movie and why?
I love this question.
Iris answers, oh, I know this. Austin Powers, duh, Goldmember. And I said, have you guys watched that for movie night yet? And she said, no, bullshit. So there you go. Iris wants to watch Goldmember.
Yep.
Put on the list.
Yep.
Next question is from Spider. They ask, do you like makeup? If so, what kind? Iris said, yeah, I love it. It's great. Anything that smells nice. I got great lip gloss for Christmas. Smells like strawberry.
Iris's Secret Santa gave her Victoria's Secret lip gloss. Very exciting.
She loves it.
It's very exciting.
Clearly, she enjoys it very much. Next question is from Spider. How do you enjoy video games as a spirit? And what is your favorite game? And Iris said, I love to watch. I loved watching the cup game. And I was like, what cup game are you talking about? And she said, TikTok, Taylor's friend. You know, he yelled, I think I'm allowed to say this, puta. Hilarious.
For context.
Yes, context, Taylor.
For context, my friend, shout out Bodega Biggs. I met him at TikTok headquarters earlier in the year, and he's a video game streamer.
Cool guy.
And he plays all different kinds of video games. And when he gets upset, he lets it rip. And so I will periodically go and watch his streams, and we watch Cuphead for a couple of days, and he was yelling it. I mean, when we played that game, we were yelling at the TV. It's impossible not to. That game is the epitome of stress.
It's a game that is meant to be very, very, very hard.
It's very stressful
and very frustrating.
It's very stressful. And we did watch him play it, and apparently Iris found that very funny.
Very funny. Also, Iris very much wants us to play hard games. She was like, "Oh, we want to watch. We want to watch you guys get frustrated." I was like, "Okay, whatever."
Right. Bloopers coming soon.
Coming soon. Next question is from Spider. They ask, "Who do you get along with best in the house?" And Iris said, "All my girlfriends. A lot." Love it.
Iris never calls out like specific spirits that she's friends with. Like, she's always like, she's just friends with everybody.
I think she's very well liked among the group. I think she has a talent to get along with everybody. Like, that's something she's very good at.
She's also a great spirit. When we have like guests over who don't know much about haunted dolls, or like they're open to like having an experience or something like that, like Iris is always a really good one to have come on the spirit box and talk with them, and she likes that as well. So.
Yes, she's very chatty. The next question is from Jenny. What's the best late night snack? And Iris said, "It's ramen noodles, the brick. Do they still make those?" I said, "Yes."
We've never had those here.
No, never.
No.
And then she was like, I was like, "Do you want me to get you some?" She was like, "Yeah."
Guess we gotta get ramen
And
noodles.
I was like, "Which flavor?" She was like, "Chicken." I'm like, "Okay." All right. Which is like the classic ramen noodles that I feel like everyone knows, which are so good.
Yeah.
So good. Next question is from Jenny. How was the pizza party? Taylor, some context, please.
Yeah. So on our members only live 2 weeks ago, Ray and Sylvia came on, and Sylvia had constructed this entire idea for a pizza party. She wanted 5 Domino's pizzas. She told us what toppings had to go on them. She wanted Fanta and the whole thing. And the people took it very seriously.
Very seriously.
And as a result, they had their pizza party.
Well, that way we had some very generous people sponsor our pizza party.
Yes.
Which was very, very, very kind.
And so they got their pizza
They got
party.
their pizza party.
And it was a very exciting night here.
Oh my gosh. Crazy.
It was a very exciting night.
And to be fair, Iris said, to answer the question, it was wild. It worked. We got pizza from Domino's. Gift keeps giving is pizza. Love it.
Yeah, it was very interesting too, because like, so I have a soy allergy, so like I can't eat Domino's, and so we've never ordered Domino's here. Like that's just not even on the radar. And on this Spirit Box session, Sylvia told us exactly how the Domino's pizza website worked.
First of all, requested Domino's.
Yeah, requested Domino's, explained how the website worked, said that you could hook it up to your Alexa, and was telling us about like the coupons
and what to order
and how to order it and whatever. So I go on the Domino's website, which I've never visited on my computer, again, because I'm allergic to it. And I search it and it says top hit domino's.com. And I'm like, I've never visited this website on my computer before. And when you have a top hit, it means that you visit this website all the time. And I'm like, what in the world? I'm like, because I do sometimes like overnight leave my computer in here open because like a video is uploading or whatever. And so apparently somebody's been going on the Domino's website, and son of a nutcracker, there was an Alexa integration, which we now have because we do use our Alexa periodically. And all the instructions she gave us were correct. So it was pretty hilarious. It was pretty awesome.
Very fun. Next question is from Jenny. They ask, what spirits are the best and worst to prank? Excellent question.
Yes.
Best. Iris said, best is Dick. Worst is Phineas. He'll punish you. Dumb wand and shit. Bippity boo.
Oh my. I thought the worst prank would be Alice, but apparently it's Phineas.
It's Phineas. Dumb wand and shit.
I don't know what he does to them, I swear.
Next question is from Kara. What was the funniest prank you ever played on Taylor or Mitch? And Iris said, I don't prank them so much. I pranked Sherry. Hide the drink. Sherry being
my mom,
Taylor's mother. Oftentimes she comes over and she always brings like a cup with her
Yeah,
think it's kinda
not a
wild.
lid. Like
Not a
she
lid,
drives with
like
like
a
just
straight
whole
up
ass
cup of like iced tea or whatever. So I'm like, okay, sure, to each their own. But they hide that on her. She loses it constantly. Now we know why.
No, yeah.
Now we know why.
So
Next question is from Kara. What do you like best about this vessel that you didn't have on the others? And Iris said, it's so funny and music. Music box is pretty cool.
yes,
Pretty cool. Next question is from Kara.
and she does play it on her own. It's pretty cool.
Oh, absolutely. Iris, I would like to wear really ridiculous socks. If you could wear any pair of silly socks, what would they have on them?
Such a great question.
First of all, great
great
question.
question.
And Iris, great answer, said hairy chests on socks. I mean, it would be
I
funny.
need to find that.
It would be funny. That good luck. I'm sure they're out there, but
We should just put all of her offerings in socks with, like, instead of the purse,
you're gonna put her offerings.
in
In
hairy
socks.
chest socks. She likes them.
That's a choice.
She likes them.
She does. Next question is from Danny. They ask, did you have a good time during Mod Madness? What did you do? And Iris said, yep, it was funny. Tattoos. So cool. And I asked Iris.
We did get ghost tattoos, and Iris came to the tattoo shop with us.
Yes. Iris, I asked Iris, did you have tattoos? And Iris said, I did, not tattoo shop ones. And I said, oh, like a friend's basement? She was like, yes, and alleys. I was like, oh, great. The best kinds of tattoos. Well, maybe not the best kind. Definitely not the safest kind. But, to each their own. Next question is from Danny. Are there any spirits you know that live with the mods that you would want to come in June?
We're
And
hosting another Mod Madness in
yes.
June.
And Iris said, invite them all to come. I like everyone. Very nice.
Yeah, she's not selective.
No, she's chatty. Next question is from Danny. What did you think of your gifts from your Secret Santa? And Iris said, they were so awesome. We got friendship bracelets. Mitch, if you and Taylor don't have friendship bracelets, it means that you're not cool. Brutal.
Jeez.
Iris then said, we have to play that speaker. They got a Bluetooth speaker as a gift. And I said, oh, what do you want to play? And she said, Grateful Dead. Thanks. Next one.
She didn't want to ask. She didn't want us to ask anybody else their opinion.
She did say, Terry agrees.
Oh, of course, Terry.
Great. That's it. Did you play Grateful Dead for them?
Yes, I did.
Oh, good. Good.
Yes, I
Good. But they may need it again. Keep them
Never
happy.
too much Grateful Dead. We have a lot of Grateful Dead fans.
We
here.
do. We have a couple of good ones.
Yeah, and we don't listen to Grateful Dead, so we need to play it more for them.
Play more. We should get a Grateful Dead record for them.
Yeah.
Next question from Danny. Do you have any guess as to who your Secret Santa is? And Iris said, according to my studies, it is Fanny. Yep, it's Fanny. Because Mod Madness jokes in it. But other spirits were too young to buy septum rings and champagne. It must be them. Okay, there you go.
Fanny is one of Danny's spirits.
Yes. Next question is from Danny. I know you like playing and watching video games. If you could make your own video game, what would it be? And is there any mission? And Iris said, Hippie Van Submarine. Which sounds cool. I'm not sure where it's going there, but that's an option.
I love it.
I love it. Next question is from Carly.
AKA Vix.
AKA Vix. Do you have any idea of what games you would like to play, like survival games or horror? I enjoy playing The Last of Us. It is my favorite game. It is a mix of survival and horror because it's played in a zombie outbreak. And Iris said, I like funny games. I said, like Cuphead? She went, yep. There you go. Last question was from Carly. If you could go to any concert for any artist or bands, who would you like to see? And Iris said,
Grateful Dead.
Grateful Dead.
Could have wrote that.
What? Grateful Dead. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. I said, do you have anything else you'd like to add? She said, not on that. One thing. I said, what's that? She said, Merry Christmas, ghost nerds. Peace out.
Merry Christmas, ghost nerds.
I've never been called a ghost nerd before, but I don't mind it.
No, I kind of like it.
I don't mind
It's got a nice
kinda got a
ring
ring
to
to
it.
Yeah. All right, lovely. There you go.
But on that note,
Mm.
that is a wrap on this episode. We hope you have whatever holidays you celebrate. very, very, very happy holidays. We
Yes.
are so grateful for all of your support.
Absolutely.
You guys are such a gift to us. We get to do this because you guys watch. So thank you. Thank you to everybody who has supported us and our spirits all year long. We would not be here without you. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Have the best holidays. We are not taking a holiday break, so there will still be our Friday night members only live, where we do our spirit box sessions. So that will still be happening. And on Saturday, we will still have a podcast release.
Correct.
So yeah, we took our Thanksgiving break. We are not taking a Christmas break. In fact, you're probably going to see a lot more content during Christmas break, if anything. So a lot of stories coming. I have posted a ton of new videos recently. This past week, a new episode of Folklore Gets Fade got dropped.
Whoa.
And it was about fairy sightings,
Ooh.
modern fairy sightings. So we went over 9 different fairy sightings that have occurred around the world, including in the United States, our interpretation of them, and we would love to hear your thoughts on that as well. So go check that out if you haven't seen it already.
Very cool.
But until then,
Have
a very happy holidays. We
Yes.
wish you all the best, and we will see you next week. Bye, everybody. Did Iris wave too? Oh, great.
She's waving.
Bye.